Hey everybody, it's Clements, and I have the great pleasure of being joined by Aram Jabari of Atlus fame. Hello, sir, and thank you for joining us
Mr.
today.
Clements, thank you so much for letting me into the building.
Absolutely. Well, no, you're always welcome in this building.
Most of my demos actually have been just along the street. I don't know.
Okay.
You guys
Well,
let me in for the first time.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is a momentous occasion because we are looking at Persona 4 Golden on the Vita. This is the greatly improved, I would say. Not to say the original was bad,
It's
greatly
addition,
improved.
It's addition by subtraction. We took the out of the Japanese title, so
So now it is Persona 4
golden.
And it is tons more content than the original PS2 version. I believe you put the mark at 40% more?
There's.
Oh no, wait, that was the voice work.
You know what? It's even more than that. So there's an all new story element, a new story chapter. It's like a ski resort, and that and all the extra dialogue, all the voice stuff. It's 40% more voice dialogue. So it's huge. We thought that this would be initially an undertaking, but it wouldn't be basically 1.5 of the original game. It is a huge amount of content, and
I bet it's even 1.52%.
I bet you it's like 1.999. That was lame. So this is. I'll just quickly preface like what we're looking at right now. So Persona 4 Golden is the Vita version of Persona 4, an RPG that was released in 2008, one of the best rated Atlus games in history, a really fan favorite, and it's one of the reasons I think
you work for them, the way you're talking.
It's like they pay me. And in addition to Persona 3, which came out a year prior, it really represents one of the breakout forces in our company's history, in our RPG kind of tradition, and also the Persona sub-series of the Shin Megami Tensei universe. And
obtained golf club.
Obtained medicine 3. So we're looking here. This is actually the localization folks who are listening to this. These are the English voices. The first time that we're doing this, we're showing kind of the fully localized game. Still some stuff to work on, but we're shooting for a release that's this holiday season. And Persona 4 evolved Persona 3's premise. You play high school students who have this ability to summon this inner strength, this persona. It's a supernatural twist on something that's otherwise very relatable. A bunch of high school kids who are dealing with something that's kind of, they're in over their heads. It's a bit above what they're used to. And here Chie was kind of going to tether Yosuke and you, the character that you play as the protagonist. And that
didn't quite work out so well.
Okay, so people are watching this and they've never played Persona. Like, what did I just watch? They went into the TV. So in a Persona 4 story, there's something called the Midnight Channel, and the game starts out with a murder. There's actually now I think there's kind of this growing unrest in the town of Inaba, where people are wondering what the circumstances were, and a student ends up dead. And so from there, really, you and your friends end up being thrust into this, where you discover there's this world inside the TV. You're convinced that this is tied to it, these murders, and you meet this character, Teddy. This is the second time we're going in, second time we're meeting Teddy. And Yosuke is kind of going to come out and right off the bat accuse Teddy. You're actually... Teddy, and we don't even know his name yet. He's still Mysterious Bear. He thinks it's us. This is his world, and so he's right off the bat he's
suspicious.
He's suspicious.
Yeah.
So we get involved into this mystery, but this TV world, and we're going to go through a little bit. So I'm going to show off right now one of the cool things in the Vita version. We're able to fast forward all this dialogue. We'll just do it a little bit here. We kind of settle things with each other. Teddy ultimately accepts proof that we're not really the bad guys here. And then we're going to set off to find out who is responsible for bad things that are happening in Teddy's world. Because Teddy is essentially upset, and here we've actually, Teddy, what the hell? What is Teddy, right?
Teddy doesn't have a person sitting inside him.
Teddy doesn't have a person inside of him. So... Teddy is upset because people are being thrown into his world, as he tells us, and then we tell him that they're turning up dead in our world, the real world. So we'll stop skipping here, and we're going to get to the first fight here in a second. It's also going to be the opportunity for our persona to be summoned for the first time. But anyways, I'm jumping around a bit, but in short, Persona 4 Golden is a role-playing game. It's a Japanese role-playing game, so it has turn-based, menu-driven combat. One of the innovations Persona 3 introduced and Persona 4 continues is a calendar system. So you have day after day, different time instances during the day where you can do different things. You go to school, you have things you can do after school. You can actually choose how you spend time with your friends. But beyond that, in Persona 4 Golden, they've added the ability to go out at night, and we're gonna look at that in a bit.
Excellent.
So here, this is an example of the TV world. It's kind of this weird perversion of our world. It's colorful, but it's also dark. And again, this is Teddy's world. It's not a sinister world, but someone is doing something sinister with it.
And I noticed, by the way, and maybe this is my Persona 4 ignorance, but the glasses, spectacles, play a huge part in the artistic design of Persona 4. I'm wondering if, does it play into the gameplay at all? Is this like an item that you equip, or is it just for looking cool? Looking cool in the Midnight Channel.
The glasses, actually, it's part of, they wear them inside the TV world. That's basically,
for 3D.
In Persona 3, they had the evoker that people would put the gun to their head and summon their persona that way. And the glasses have to do with the Midnight Channel and kind of the characters going in. That's kind of the symbolism for that.
Nice.
I'm doing my best not to talk over the dialogue. For folks watching, I'm kind of guessing when the dialogue is ending and advancing the text, but I might clip the end of the lines a little bit. We don't have a live monitor here for the audio. I also don't want to talk over all of it because this is the first time that we've got the English localization in, and there are a couple characters. This is bad PR to throw this out, but some folks may not be aware. We did have to re-record a couple of the characters' lines, and we did it for Persona 4 Arena. Chie and Teddy, and because of the significant expansion of content and of voice content in P4 Golden, we had the same issue with those two characters, and we did have to bring in the same characters who did the voices in Arena, who I think the community, once they played the game, they realized they did a great job. Chie and Teddy. So I'll see if I can avoid talking over that.
Yeah, we can just let it play. Absolutely.
What the hell?
I am thou. Thou art I.
Persona.
Has come. Open thine eyes.
You know what's gonna happen, right?
Forth what is within.
That's my face when I'm playing the Vita. That's what it looks like. So this is your character, the protagonist. This is really his awakening, the summoning of his persona for the first time. Izanagi. A lot of belt buckles.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you can't have an anime hero without belt buckles. Look at that badass right there.
That's a nice cod piece, too.
Can't have an anime hero without a cod piece either. Cod piece and buckles.
Throughout the game, you're going to be treated to beautiful anime cutscenes like that. There are new anime cutscenes in Golden. Again, we'll look at some of the new stuff that there is. But here we're treated to the first battle. So anyone who hasn't played a JRPG, which I'm guessing is not that many people, and anyone who hasn't played Persona, this is kind of how the battles will play out. Now, this is very easy.
This looks amazing, Ron, by the way. I'm just really impressed.
Well, this is the best-selling Vita game of all time in Japan. Tremendously well-received. It still is one of the best reviewed RPGs we've ever done, the original PS2 version. So just to think that 100-plus hours of this kind of gameplay is in the palm of your hand and the screen on the Vita. This is very easy difficulty, so there is now a new very easy and very hard difficulty to expand the spectrum that you can choose when you're starting out. Let's do a traditional attack. We go ahead and target our enemy. Boom. Gives you an indication.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. So there are different elemental kinds of damages. There's ice, there's fire, there's electricity, and those different kinds of elemental damages, there are weaknesses and strengths that enemies may have. So you want to use what enemies are susceptible to, and there you saw weak appear over the enemy's face when we hit them. That's kind of an indication that they're susceptible to lightning in that case. We leveled up. HP and SP have increased. So in Western RPGs, you a lot of times you'll choose the stats as you level up. In Persona and a lot of JRPGs, the increase in your character's strength and capacity is automatic, but you do in a lot of ways control the customization of your character through what personas you're using,
right.
The personas you collect, the abilities that the personas have, those unlock level after level, and you notice that the characters and the personas have independent levels.
I'm rubbing my hands together in anticipation, Aram. So just can't wait for this game. So now something has descended upon our fair hero.
Well, that's kind of Izanagi settling into you. It's kind of like Patrick Swayze going into Whoopi Goldberg's body in the film. Have you seen Ghost? I'm guessing you've seen Ghost.
I haven't seen Ghost.
You what?
No.
No?
Remember, I haven't seen any movie ever. So.
If you guys visit Ryan Clement's blog on IGN.com, be sure to let him know in the comments.
Or just tweet at
how
me
much he should
at,
see
at
Ghost.
Quam Cider.
Patrick.
You can tell me that I should go see Ghost.
So let's fast forward here a little bit. We're going to actually get into a boss fight. This is a minor spoiler here, but this is really early on in the game, so I don't think anyone's going to be too perturbed. This is another cutscene, and this is really the heart and soul of Persona 4 is a theme that I'm going to touch on, and that's really the exploration of the inner psyche. Like Catherine, a game we had in 2011 that explored relationships and explored the psychology of commitment and infidelity, fidelity. Persona 4 explores the insecurities, the darkness, that alter ego that we all have within ourselves to some extent. And here we can kind of hear this. Yosuke he carries a lot of insecurities with him. A lot of them come out here. He's being taunted by how he thinks other characters, his friends, perceive him.
Right.
And what's interesting in Persona 4 Golden and Persona 4 versus a lot of other role-playing games is that you're given characters that you're meant to grow close to and connect with. But Persona 4 gives you this unique opportunity to actually connect on an emotional level with these party members of yours and really your classmates, your friends in the game by and this is a character, she actually died. This is one of the characters who died. It started the entire your involvement with this murder mystery. You really understand what hurts them. You understand their pain, what they're afraid of, what they're embarrassed about. And that connection, that understanding, I really think, and I think it's that sentiment is echoed by a lot of fans who've played Persona 4, and for them it carries such a esteemed place in the pantheon of games they've played, is that very few games kind of touch that level of emotionality. And I'll try to maybe just go through some of the dialogue without talking over it. I apologize to everyone. I know everyone says I talk too much over these things, but
I love the sound of your voice, Rom.
Oh,
yeah, let's hear.
Who
Let's hear.
cares about Juness anyway? Because of that store, our business is ruined. My parents hate me. The neighbors talk behind my back. I wish everything would just disappear.
It's a lie. This can't be. Senpai's not like that. It's so sad. I feel so sorry.
so we hear this, even there indicated with a question mark. Is that still Yosuke? This dark
One who thinks everything's a pain in the ass.
shadow version of himself, you could say.
Huh? Two Yosuke?
Love those eyes.
Who are you? I wouldn't think that. Yeah, right. How long are you going to keep deluding? Screw the shopping district and Juness too. You're sick of everything, especially living out in the sticks. What are you saying? That's not true. You put on a good show of being carefree and happy-go-lucky because you're so terrified of being alone. The more the merrier, right? gotta be surrounded by people to block
So,
out the
I mean, basically, this shadow version of Yosuke is hitting home on what
Saki-senpai say.
really gnaws away at him. And all the characters, over the course of the game, we discover what it is that really kind of is eroding their confidence. And it's real. It's kind of like what we all have. So that dimension is at the heart of the interaction with the characters, and it's at the heart of kind of this discovery in the Midnight Channel. As you uncover this murder mystery and you get to the bottom of it, you learn so much more about each other. It reminds me, it evokes to me Harry Potter. You know, you're school kids by day, you go to class, you have friends, you choose how you spend your time, and then at night, you're really, it's kind of like a life and
fight
death.
Voldemort, man.
You gotta fight some demons,
Yeah, some real demons. Inner and outer demons.
Skip just a little bit more of this dialogue. There wasn't much left, and we're going to get into the cutscene that introduces this boss fight. And you know what? And then we'll go ahead and we'll actually jump into a little later in the game.
Sounds good.
You're nothing like me. Yeah, that's right. I am me now. I'm not you anymore, see?
That looked like Yosuke's persona that he'll eventually get, I
Right.
think, right? Oh, except,
I am
oh
a
my goodness.
shadow, the true self. I'll crush everything that bores me.
So obviously we have a fight coming up here, but you know what? We're going to jump ahead to just a little later on in the game.
Sounds good. So we're back with another section of Persona 4
A
Golden.
little later on, we actually kind of won that fight against Yosuke's shadow self, and here we actually have a situation. So some mild spoiler alert, but we're actually going to go in now, and we have a similar situation with Yukiko, another one of our friends, and we're talking to Chie here in class. Will we go to save Yukiko quite at this moment? Today's a bad day for me. We kind of want to go and check out Inaba. So let's see.
Today's a bad day for me
Yeah, I
to
don't know
save
if I
a
want to
life.
save my best friend. Oh, Yosuke, what do you think we should do? Oh, Yosuke looks worried. Oh, today's a bad day for me. So, I feel like a dick, but I really want to go into town. That's exactly what we're going to do. So, for folks who aren't familiar, you know what you saw earlier, the fight, that's traditional JRPG stuff. What you're going to see here is what really makes Persona special. This calendar system, and you can see in the upper right, it's April 18th, it's Monday, it's after school. A lot of times there's things you can do after school, like clubs that boost your stats. I think there's a basketball team. There's choices in everything. How you spend your time really at the heart of it. And here we are, this is at Inaba, this is a shopping district. People are kind of talking about the murder, folks are hanging around. Let's check
The
this out.
wonderful square button.
Here's a store, Shiroku store. So we go in here and we can buy some supplies here, new merchandise. Please buy a lot. What kind of things they have on sale? All right, revival beads, stimulant, good to know. We'll bounce. So
We're bouncing. Sorry, old lady.
there's a lot of new content in Golden that is it'll be immediately apparent to someone who played Persona 4 on the PS2. And there's a lot of stuff that, I mean, it's subtle to the point where you may not even notice it. Like, for example, this temple was never rendered in 3D in the PS2 version of the game. It was just a static background. But now you can actually come here, and there's a lot of stuff that originates here. There's you meet the fox here. There's a bunch of mini quests for anyone who's familiar with that character that comes from here. And there's something that I'll get to in a bit that's exclusive to Golden as well. There's holidays. I think there's a new holiday. I think it's a New Year celebration that takes place in the temple.
In the temple, very
But
nice.
I mean, it's kind of like Shenmue. It's a lot of those games that have those calendar systems that the game really takes advantage of that. So by pressing square, you can instant kind of jump around. And let's actually go home, and we'll advance the time. So by going home, we should be able to make it evening. and you'll see that it kind of comes up right here. Note the load times, by the way. This is exactly what you can expect when you pick the game up. It's blazing fast.
Are we looking at this as it's installed on the?
No, this is
Vita,
running.
or
This is the equivalent of what the PSN version would be, but there is an install feature for the cart version of the game. I mean, the load times are instants. They're seconds. It's fantastic. I can't rave about that enough because not only because I'm paid to do so, but because it genuinely enhances the experience. So. Nanako here, our cousin, and our uncle Dojima's out. He's pretty unavailable a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So this is all new
The
for
latchkey
Golden.
kid going on over here.
We're able to. The fact that we can sneak out at night is completely new. It's evening. The music is different. Obviously, the world has been redone to be lit up. Now you can't go everywhere. We can go to the shopping district. We can go to the riverbank. Let's quickly go to the riverbank, for example. And time doesn't pass when you explore. It only passes when you do something. But there's a fishing mini game that you can actually do in this game, and there's all new that's been expanded at night. There's new fish. It's the depth. It's like a pool that they tore the bottom out and they made it 10 feet deeper.
Yes.
It's the same experience, but it's so much richer in every sense. Now we went into Shiroku's store earlier. Remember that?
I do remember that.
Now it looks a little different on the outside. It's a little lit up. Let's go in. Now it's a Shiroku Pup. This is again all new for the Vita version of the game. Shiroku Pup. Oh, she kind of dolls up a bit at night. Turns her store into a nightclub when normal business hours are over. Nocturnal oasis where adults can escape their daily lives. And a lot of times, when you're running around downtown at night, you'll run into Chie, you'll run into Yosuke. You'll be able to choose to spend your time with them, and however you spend your time, a lot of times you'll level up. But here, it looks like there's something she wants. She actually hints that she wants gems. We don't have that for her, so she doesn't really open up to us.
All right.
It's just one thing. Let's go back to the shrine real quick, and again, it'll give you an idea. An example of just how much richer things are. In Golden, at night when you go into the shrine, the temple area, there's actually kind of a creepiness that's to the point where your courage is not high enough to be able to go in here. There's something you can do a little later on in the game. Can't do it yet. You need enough courage to the point where it's the reliable courage level that you could actually come in here. So.
What would you say your courage level is?
Somewhere between total wuss and...
not reliable.
No, not reliable. I would run... You know what? Let me tell you. When I have a spider in my room, Ryan, I bust out the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah,
and I take the extendo rod.
Yeah.
And I close the door. You know how when they X-ray your teeth in the dentist's office?
Yeah.
I close the door and I stick the thing up through the door and I close my eyes and I try to suck the spider into the vacuum. That's how I do it. Let's go back home, and very quickly we'll go to sleep and save me some embarrassment. So again, subtle details, right? In our room, for example, on the wall, this calendar is all new, so we can actually check out. And the game kind of told us that right now. Check out it gives you a much better idea of what's coming up, holidays. It's. Everything about the game has been. I mean, when you look at the interface, for example,
super clean. Love it.
Super clean. It's just gorgeous, colorful,
cheerful.
Vibrant, cheerful.
How could How could you be depressed looking at this menu?
You know what?
I don't think you could.
There's like little collectibles, little tchotchkes that you can get. Tchotchkes not a word that any JRPG fan wants to hear, but I mean, it's cool stuff. And there's more of that stuff. We can choose to study. So someone asked the question, well, now that you can do another extra thing at night and you can kind of further buff your character, increase your knowledge, your courage, does it make the game easier? Well, that's where the difficulty settings come in. Very hard really does counteract any sort of perk you could get. If you're a veteran player and you really want to squeeze every last drop out of that extra time that the game gives you with the evenings, you can just set the game difficulty to very hard.
What are the 4 attributes that I was just saying? Or maybe not 4, but there was knowledge. You said courage was one of them. Are these all?
Well, I don't want to get it wrong from memory. Let me go. Actually, I can go right into the. Well, there's going to be a little bit of time before I can get into the menu again, but we'll get into the menu and we'll just.
Why don't we just check it out at some point?
We'll check it out
when
at
it's
some
convenient.
point.
When it's convenient. You took Margaret's advice to heart.
I skipped through that. Sorry to anyone who wanted to hear that. Sorry, Margaret. So here we are. This is what you can expect when you're playing the game. Now, both of these characters in front of us are going to be social link possibilities for us. Oh, social links. Perfect. We haven't even talked about social links. Social links are really, we talked about how you dive into the inner psyche of your friends, your characters, you really get to know them. Social links are the gameplay mechanic embodiment of that. So when you choose to spend time with characters, when you choose to spend time in certain clubs, you expand, you max out certain social links. And when you do that, you're assisted in, it actually makes your character stronger in battle. So, you know, the stronger your friendships, the more strength you can draw upon in fights. And these characters are, you know, they're talking about what's going on in the world, but you know, the basketball team is an example of, for example, something that you can join, and you can choose to stay after school and do that, and it increases your social links, it increases potentially stats. There you go. You can join a sports club. So really quickly, well, let's go ahead and we'll go to our status here, use status. So. Here we can see knowledge,
5.
courage, diligence, understanding, expression. Again, courage, for example, we have to get that up to reliable if we were to be able to get into the shrine at night. And well, here, you know, they told us that we have to go to the faculty office to join a club. Yeah, exactly right. So sewing room. Now we could sew. Home ec. So there's tons of things that you can do after school. And again, this is really the music club. We're not able to join there yet, but you know, if we were able to find the gymnasium, we were able to do that. And so we'll probably leave the demo here. It's one of the longer demos, I think, that you're kind to indulge
But
me.
it's all good.
But so Persona 4 Golden, it is an enhanced and expanded version of one of the best games we've ever released, Persona 4. It is a 100+ hour RPG. The Vita version is cut down in absolutely no way. It is the stand of duckweed. It is half Harry Potter, half. I mean, you know, you're students by day. You're saving the world, or really, you're saving lives by night. And we kind of hope that anyone who has a Vita is willing to check the game out. We expect it will follow the trend in Japan, where it is now the best-selling Vita game of all time, and it will be successful here in North America as well.
You have confidence, is what you're telling me.
We
Your
have
confidence is at a high level.
We have confidence, it's at a high level, but really we believe that there's no game on the marketplace for Vita owners that offers this amount of depth, this much gameplay, and really this satisfying an RPG experience. Really, the genre is untapped yet, and we hope folks look out for this exclusively for Vita, coming out this fall.
Well, thank you very much, sir. It's like you've done all this before.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.